Stop doom scrolling through Pinterest. Pick about 10 images and put them in pure reference and just start drawing. Don't let it trap you. It's more important to pick something to draw rather than scrolling for an hour trying to find something to draw. If I'm spending more time scrolling than drawing, then we got a problem. So as you can see, I have more than 10 references up on screen, but that's because this is my actual Pinterest or my actual pure ref board that I use to draw these characters for Mario Starfall, the novel I'm working on, the illustrated novel. But how do you even use reference, right? You can gather as much as possible, but if you don't know how to use it, then it's kind of useless. So when I'm drawing characters, when I'm drawing anything, I'm using reference for inspiration. I'm not trying to copy exactly what I see. For example, this knight here on screen, I drew these big like shoulder guards. I don't know what they're called, but I just use my imagination to try and come up with something that looks interesting. So you don't have to copy something exactly, but just use that as inspiration. Especially when I'm drawing characters, I want every character I draw to feel unique and have their own story to them, their own look. And with these sketches, I think I did a pretty good job at establishing that. A lot of the reference I'm using is just inspiration, so I don't have to worry about things looking the same. And what I'm doing with this character specifically, like this kind of like sneaky little character, I'm using reference to combine certain elements from other reference to combine in one character design specifically. But you can do this with anything you draw: buildings, environments, characters. Just put your own spin on what you see in the reference. It's all about observation, and you've got your own taste, your own style. So let that show in the drawing that you create. So here are some of my drawings from 5 years ago. Obviously I've improved, but back then I didn't understand how to implement the reference I was observing as inspiration for my drawings. I was just hoping it worked out. I would just gather some pictures, random pictures without intention. And I think that's a good word to use, because you want your reference that you're using to be intentional, to serve the purposes for the project you're working on or the drawing that you're working on. In this case, I'm working on some character design, so I want references of medieval kind of people in medieval costumes, and just trying to use that to put in my own style and in its own medieval fantasy kind of genre, just combining different things. And so back then I was just not as confident to use reference because I thought I had to copy it. But you don't have to copy it. You just got to use it as inspiration, and really take the time to observe what you're seeing. And that's why you got to use reference to your advantage. You got to really study it and break down the simple shapes and forms of the subject matter. Before I really started drawing a lot of characters and trying to figure out how to draw clothing, I thought it was like really complicated, but it's not. If you can draw the big shapes first and the smaller shapes last, then you're pretty much there. So that's why I think still life drawing is good, because you learn how to break down complex objects into simple shapes. And that's all I'm doing when I'm drawing from reference. I'm breaking down complex objects and armor and clothing, from big shapes to medium shapes to small shapes, the big overall shape all the way down to the tiny details. For example, if you have a character that you want to draw, it's best to start off learning the basic shapes that make up the human body rather than trying to draw each individual muscle, right? So yeah, just working big to small. Start with the big shapes and then draw the small, more intricate shapes and details. The more you draw from reference, the easier it will be to draw certain things from imagination. And right now it's very easy for me to draw poses at almost any angle. I'm still working on it, but I pretty much draw any pose from imagination that I want. And that's just observing the reference that you have and practicing it all the time. It's all about getting those reps in. That's what I'm doing here in this time lapse. Just getting my reps in for character design and get better at drawing clothing in general, right? So yeah, just use reference as an inspiration. You don't need to copy everything you see. And try and combine certain things that you see in the reference to make it even more interesting. Remember to study how to draw something and break it down by the simple shapes, right? Big to small shapes. Always start with the big shapes first, the simple circles, squares, cylinders, things that you see, and then break it down to the simple, intricate, small details. When you draw for reference, you are investing in your own imagination, so you can draw anything, anywhere, at any time. So don't forget that. Always draw, keep drawing, and you got this. And just one more thing. If you would like to learn how to draw from me at a deeper level, learn how to draw your own characters and the world around them, you can join me on Patreon. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this helped you, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.